You're listening to Bros Let's Talk.
Heyo, it's Bros Let's Talk. Pat here with Jimmy, Sean, Andy. What's up, dude? How was your Halloween?
What's up, dudes?
It was fun.
What up?
What did everyone go as if everyone dressed up? Sean, I know you didn't.
Technically, I actually did dress up. I was Pablo Sanchez, but it was a very weak effort at Pablo Sanchez.
Okay. The GOAT.
I was David Rose from Schitt's Creek.
Okay. Andy?
That's
I
hilarious.
didn't dress up as anything. I stayed home and drank.
Nice.
You were an alcoholic for Halloween?
Yep, pretty much.
Dude, I like it.
I was the milkman.
That was an awesome costume.
Yeah, I was like, at first when Alyssa mentioned it, I thought it was super lame, but then when the stuff came and I agreed, and then I decided to do the mustache, I was like, all right, this is pretty solid.
Yeah, it was good.
Pretty solid. So
You were like the white Dave Chappelle, man. That's
thank you.
Amazing.
That's the highest compliment any white man can receive.
That's pretty much true.
Seems like it was a pretty tame Halloween all around, though. We
Yeah.
kind of all just laid low, so we're getting old, boys.
So we were handed out. I handed out
that and
candy
the
most of the
pandemic,
night.
you know.
Yeah, the
That's
pandemic
true.
and stuff.
That was big factor in my decision.
So to hand out candy, we didn't let anyone come to the house. Remember those like koosh racquetball things?
Yeah.
We were koosh slinging candy to kids. It was awesome.
That's awesome.
It was so fun, dude.
There were so many houses with like 3-inch PVC pipes running from.
I saw those too.
It was so cool, and they decorated them. And I saw someone on Twitter one up theirs, and they put a leaf blower to like eject the candy out at the end. Had a little P trap at the end. It was amazing.
Yes,
Dude,
our neighbors went all
That's
out
awesome.
like
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Which, along with social distancing birthday parties for my kids for the rest of their lives, where it's 15 minutes, cars drive up, I throw them a cupcake, they take a picture, they give the kids their gift and leave. That's what I'm doing for my kids. I'm also doing social distancing trick or treating forever now. PVC pipe, leaf blower the candy out. Don't even come up my stairs. Be on your way.
I like
that.
that.
Yeah.
Have a good day.
Yeah.
You're a good superhero.
See you later.
Get the hell out of here.
Goodbye. Good luck catching this.
I don't know. I kind of like seeing the little kids come up to the door and what kind of costumes they are. And
dude, there are some good costumes.
Kids are, people get clever.
One kid had a
real clever.
badass Mandalorian costume. It was
nice.
I
sick.
saw a handful of those. They were delightful.
Nice.
Yeah, I was like, damn, that's top.
Except you could tell some kids didn't even watch it because I'd be like, this is the way. And they look up at me like, why are you talking to me?
Fuck you,
What do
kid.
you mean, why am I talking? Take the costume off.
Right.
And then
Give me that armor. Give me that armor.
My kid to
Right.
take his clothes off.
Goddamn
I was like, it's not like that. It's not what I meant.
Dad.
Dude, Steve was dressed as Batman and a t-shirt and a pretty good mask actually, but he would just be yelling shit at kids and Batman. His Batman voice, I was dying, dude.
Where is he?
We would koosh him a
Where
bunch
is
of candy.
he?
They'd be walking away. And he'd be like, it's not the candy you want, but it's the candy you need. Kids would just be like looking back at him.
Hands him an almond joy.
Exactly. No, we had other good
that's
stuff.
funny.
Dude, full-size candy bars only from the Connell household. That's how it's been.
Wow.
Full size. We got fruit,
Wow.
we got chocolate, we got all of it, dude. We give out
Must be
little
nice to be
trinkets and
rich.
bags. Yeah, dude, living real cushy
Yeah,
over
dude.
here on Hillside at my parents' house.
That's funny.
Yeah, there's like 6 incomes going into that household.
We got disposable income, baby.
That's awesome. All right, before we jump into the Mandalorian, because that's where we're going to start, did you guys see the best Halloween costume this year of anybody? The Weekend
No.
was the Nutty
What?
Professor.
My God.
Whoa.
That's amazing,
Is
dude.
that not the greatest?
Oh shit, that's
Gosh,
so
I did
good.
not. I did not see that.
Dude,
You know what? I feel
That's so good.
between the four of us, especially, if we had unlimited funds,
Oh.
we would have the best costumes
Dude,
every single
if
year.
I had unlimited funds,
every year.
you've seen the stuff I've made with minimal funds.
That's what I'm saying.
Dude, talk about minimal funds. My A1 costume was gonna be a
Minimal
ceiling.
funds.
Yes.
All right. I built a fence and stood behind it as Wilson and didn't
That's
win
true,
the
you
costume
did. That was
contest
great.
at work. Minimal
Which was
funds.
bullshit, by the way. That should win every costume contest anywhere.
Put my cut on.
There you go. Utilize it.
Happy Halloween.
So I am 1 year, and I have already downloaded the 3D printing specifications for this. I'm gonna be the Rocketeer with the mask.
Oh, see,
and
that
the
would be
rocket
cool.
pack. But
That'd
the
be
problem
solid.
is I can't find a leather jacket for less than like $400 because here's my other issue.
Fake
And
leather
Pat,
jacket, dude. This
Pat,
you think
you
this is
will-
real?
You
Leather,
will
baby.
appreciate this the most.
Limited funds.
If you're gonna go with someone as a costume, you can't go like the half-ass version of the person.
True.
You gotta go all out, right? Like you can't buy a green shirt with a question mark and wear a green hat and say, "Oh, I'm the Riddler." No, you
You're a
cannot do
piece of
that.
shit.
You have to go all out. So with unlimited
do have to
funds,
go all
I
out.
feel like the four of us we could come up with some costumes.
Okay. Now that you brought that up, with unlimited funds, off the top of your head, what's something you would like? Sean, you mentioned the Mandalorian.
I have a
That would
Halloween
be-
costume list on my phone of people I want to go as. So I
Of
have.
course you do.
I
Please
have-
hold that up to the camera.
That's
for
the
a few
least
more
shocking
seconds.
thing I've ever seen.
No,
What
it's
are
not
the
just-
what are
that's
the
a-
what are
that
the
is a-
emotes?
Fucking grocery
Every one
list,
that he's
dude.
gone as.
Yeah, those are
You're
costumes
welcome
I've
for the
gone as
top
before.
one.
Yes, thank you. That was all you.
The Riddler.
Dude.
Did you go all out for the Riddler?
I
don't remember
sure
you
did.
being the
I
Riddler.
went as Batman the animated series Riddler. I'll show you the pictures for that one.
So my brother Steve, he
Jimmy.
cooshed a pack of Skittles to a kid who was the Riddler, and he said, "Skittle me this, Skidler," and he smashed some Skittles at him. I was fucking dying. He was going
Skittle me this,
so
that's
hard,
awesome.
dude.
Oh my
Oh
god.
my god.
Oh boy.
What does Steve do on Sunday mornings?
Dude.
Maybe he can jump in, fill in
I
for the
bet you
Connell.
he would
As
love to get
Connell
on
would
this
be an
shit.
easy transition.
Dude, I'll just like transfer my life over to him.
Oh,
Like, here you go. Here's my email and my password.
we shouldn't have said anything here and then just transition Steve in and see if anyone noticed. Damn it. I'll cut this.
Cut it.
Not gonna
Steve,
cut it, maybe.
you're not going to hear this, but we're coming for you, buddy.
I mean, your
So-
name only says Scon in
That's
Zoom,
true.
so
That's
Yeah,
true.
his email address is almost identical to mine. So
Sconnell?
Oh, that's Sconnell
he's
01.
a Sconnell too.
Yeah, he's a
All
Sconnell.
right.
So
Nice.
with Sean being in Germany next Halloween, I think the BLT boys could go as Weekend at Bernie's if we went to a party
Oh my
and
god,
we were
that's
able
awesome.
to go.
We'll have Sean.
Dead man me, you should absolutely do that.
If
That
I
would
were
be
to have
amazing.
if I were to have unlimited funds and make a perfect costume, it'd either be Dick Tracy or the Rocketeer, and I mean like
Dick
an
Tracy would
exact
be sick.
replica of the costume,
Dick
or
Tracy would be sweet.
Colonel Guile from Street Fighter.
Guile
probably
would
what
be
I'd go
sick
with.
too.
That'd be pretty sweet.
Dude, I'll go as the crazy green E Honda. No, not E Honda. What's his name? He's the green bastard in that with the
Blanca.
orange hair.
Blanca.
Blanca,
Yeah.
Blanca. You're
Blanca.
right, Blanca.
Long ass. Yeah, that'd be
Yes.
Street Fighter costumes would be fun, dude.
Yeah,
Right?
those would be sick. It
Nostalgic.
would be cool to have an authentic Master Chief outfit.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
that would be pretty
Just
sweet.
to
That would
have.
be-
I mean, I
Yeah,
would just
just to
have that
have.
like in the corner right here,
That would be pretty cool.
right behind me.
I'm sure
Just a
Sharper
full-
Image still sells it.
Yeah.
They're out of business.
Which
And
is
then-
probably why they're out of business.
Obviously, Dark Knight Batman suit, just
Yeah.
again to have
Right.
and to roam around. And then to what Steve was doing, imagine what he could do in that suit. I would jump off the roof and chuck candy at kids. I'm not the one wearing hockey pads.
Hockey pants or
Yeah.
hockey pads. That's the lifelong
The-
debate.
oh my gosh, at Bose, we had this guy that we worked with, and he thought he was saying, I'm not the one wearing hockey pants.
The
When he was
fuck?
clearly saying pads, and we watched it
we
over
were
and over.
dying. We were like, dude, it's obviously hockey pads. He's like, it's hockey pants. We're like,
Did you
bro.
put the subtitles
Jesus
on?
Yes,
Or
we
came
put
up-
the
okay.
subtitles on, and he still was like, I don't know.
He
These
refused to
subtitles
believe
are
it.
wrong sometimes.
They got it
Oh my
wrong. Yeah, he
God.
said they got it wrong. I was like, all right, man.
Yeah, they got it wrong. Sure, everyone here
Yeah,
is
sure
saying
they
it's
did,
this,
yeah.
It says
Uh-huh.
this. Christopher Nolan was asked if it was this. No, he wasn't really asked.
I would say that would be hilarious.
Christopher Nolan, can you clarify the one line?
What
Right?
does hockey pants mean in relation to the rest of the film? Like,
Right. All right, bros, let's talk. You get one question for Christopher Nolan.
Yeah.
In The Dark Knight, does he say hockey pants or hockey pads?
it's a loaded question, but
That's probably why I was denied access as a Comic-Con Chicago journalist, because
It's a
that's the
loaded
question I put
question.
down that I would ask.
Ask
The
the hard-hitting
loaded
questions.
question. Oh, that's
Chris, right here,
amazing.
BLT. Sean, how are you?
Whew. All right. We are starting with The Mandalorian, Season 2, Episode 1, Chapter 9, The Marshal.
The Marshal.
Good episode. Quick recap. This is spoilers. So if you haven't
Spoilers
seen it,
going
get
forward.
out of here. Get out of here if you haven't seen it. Mia, if you haven't seen it, it's going to
She
get spoiled
watched.
for you.
She sat and watched with us.
Oh,
well,
nice.
for like 35 of the 50
Okay.
minutes.
Okay.
Good. Not
So
great, but
quick
pretty good.
recap, and then we'll just talk about thoughts. So Mando's seeking out other Mandalorians, trying to return Baby Yoda to his people, sent to Tatooine to Mos Pelgo. Is that what it's called? Mos Pelgo?
Yes.
Confronts this said Mandalorian who's supposed to be there. He's not a real Mandalorian. It's Timothy Oliphant Cobb Vanth. By the way, with the hour that we gained yesterday, I decided to use it to rewatch this episode again. So
Oh, nice.
1 o'clock turned to 1 o'clock, turned to 1:59, turned to 1
to
o'clock.
1 o'clock. Yep.
And then I watched The Mandalorian again. It was awesome.
That's why I feel so good. I got an extra hour of sleep and didn't know it. Go on.
So he demands the armor back because he's not a real Mandalorian. Then the giant sand dragon interrupts them, and basically they cut a deal that he'll give it back to him if he helps them get rid of the dragon. They team up with the sand people who oink like pigs and are all weird.
So weird.
And then they end up taking out the dragon because Mando is just a badass.
Total badass. He kept the whole thing together.
Yeah.
Sure did.
As always. And I saw a meme earlier, and when I saw it, it like scared me for a second. It was a picture of Pedro Pascal, and it was like, breaking news: Pedro Pascal breaks back carrying the entire Star Wars franchise. And I was like, oh, like I thought he actually got injured at first, and then it's just because
Dude.
The Mandalorian is so good.
Ewan
and I can't
McGregor
help
is
it.
coming. It's going to be
Oh,
sick.
right. It's going to get so much better. And all signs seem to point towards Jon Favreau getting put in charge potentially of the Star Wars franchise.
Damn.
The current lead,
That would be
her name,
wild.
Is
her
he the
contract
busiest man?
expires, and they don't expect to renew. So, and obviously he's done a great job with this. He's a busy man. Who
Dude,
thought
busiest
Jon
man.
Favreau, the guy who got
Right?
projectile vomited on, and I love you, man, would end up to be like one of the better directors going.
Yeah.
Dude, he gets his ass kicked in Friends in the he wants to become
Oh,
a
yeah.
UFC fighter. He gets
Yes,
right.
he
fucked
He's
does.
had a
up.
cool career actually.
He
when you
has.
go
He's
back.
been in
Like
a
him and
bunch of
Vince
stuff.
Vaughn partnered up. They were in, was that Swingers? That was-
Swingers.
yeah.
He wrote Swingers, or they wrote
He's
it.
Oh,
dude,
really?
right?
too.
He's like
Yep.
been doing it forever. So
He-
he
Crazy.
did
He
the
was
Iron
in-
Man.
He was in Rudy. He directed Elf,
He directed
yeah, he's done-
one of the Iron Man movies.
the first one. I
First
think.
one.
He was in charge of the first one.
Yeah. So he
Arguably
he
the
knows
best
what
one.
He
knows what
did.
he's
He
doing.
did the live action Lion King.
Mm-hmm.
He's
Mhm.
Really?
done a lot of
But
stuff.
yeah, he's
Damn, dude, this guy is just a beast.
Yeah.
Jon Favreau is awesome, and this episode was pretty awesome. I thought. Timothy
Kind of had
Oliphant-
a Western feel to it.
Yes, that's
which
what I was
thought
going to say,
super
which was
cool.
awesome with Timothy Oliphant, who Justified is kind of where he got launched from, and I've seen handful of those.
He is
episodes. That was
awesome.
great.
I loved
just-
him.
He's great. I wish he could
Oh,
be
He was so
in
great.
it more. It seems like it's just going to be a one-off, but he would be.
But you never
great-
know.
I don't.
Yeah.
I
No.
don't think so.
That's what I was thinking. He's such a big character, so I expect him to come back.
I one gripe with him, not even him, like it's just the scene. They're on the speeder bikes and they're talking. And it's like, okay, they're on speeder bikes and they're having like a full out conversation.
Yeah, they're going like
His
200
hair's
miles an
barely
hour.
moving. I was like, all right,
Gravity.
like not
Dude,
to over, like it's a
the-
small detail, but I was like, this is a
The
little-
other one was when he's escaping the bar.
Yes.
Yes.
I see that, and
I
he
wrote
just
this down.
like keeled over, like
Dude, I wrote
he like
this down.
jumped a 2-foot ledge, and he like kind of fell over, and
So
that
my
was
my my
I said it
whole
was
gripe,
lame. Totally
my-
lame.
my whole gripe with that was, so they didn't cover both entrances. They just came in one, and he just runs out the back
they're
door.
simple
and
miners. Jim.
nobody's
They
there.
weren't trained soldiers.
Okay, that's fair.
Yes, I'm glad you said that. I had that
Simple
written down.
miners.
That's what, dude. I watched the second time. I took so many notes, but that was my main gripe as
So
well.
that's
so
how
lame.
good that show is, that we're nitpicking
Yeah,
little
exactly.
details of how someone wouldn't fall over a 2-foot ledge.
So
How a speeder bike does
as
not
well
move
as-
at 10 miles an hour. It's like they're riding bikes. Like, what the fuck
It
is
was
this?
like a
It's
nice
like
stroll.
Yeah.
Pauly D hair. His hair just doesn't move.
It like barely
Helmet
moved.
hair.
It's like just to
Yeah.
showcase like his face. I was like, all right, this is a little
Which is a very
ridiculous.
nice
Like,
face to look at. by
listen,
the
I'm
way.
not saying he's ugly, but if you're on a speeder bike, you'd be like, like fucking- you're not like having a full out
Dude,
conversation with
how-
your hair barely flickering. Like,
Agreed.
How
you're
funny would
flying,
it be
dude.
though if every Mandalorian took their helmet off and they just had this sick head of hair, like completely well manicured?
It's perfect.
Yeah, like they go to the barber twice a week.
Touch me up, buddy. Such bullshit.
I also think it's maybe this goes in line with being a Mandalorian, but pretty convenient that Mando seems to speak like every language in the Star Wars universe.
He didn't have the language down pat in season 1 either. I feel like because
Yeah,
he
those
had
are
the
people
he had
that he befriended them in season 1. Those are the
Okay,
things
and then
yeah,
he-
you're right.
that he talked to. Like, not the. It was the first scene where he meets up with the Sand People, where he's like on his way out to that town.
Yeah,
He sits
that-
down because they've got the stuff that he gave them. He gave them supplies and materials, and you can see that they're the same ones that he met up with in season
okay.
1.
Is it oh man, I'm having a hard time even though I just watched it. Is that when he like not when he's with the other bounty hunter, right? And he throws him his binoculars. It's a different set than those two, right? You know what I'm talking about?
No, I think it was the binoculars.
It is that one. Okay, that's
Yeah.
right. That's the only scene I can remember. That's pretty sweet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of little Easter eggs back to season 1 and just the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
It was a really good episode.
Dude,
Very
the
good.
another
Started with a bang,
thing,
I
the
liked it.
music is so good, and it
Perfect.
adds so
Perfectly
much.
done
It adds
music.
so much to the ambiance of like, and my favorite thing about this show so far, I mean, through 9 episodes, is that like the fast progressing nature of the show, where they like it's like they don't even waste any scenes.
Yeah, they don't
Where-
fuck around.
Where some other shows have whole filler episodes, they don't even have filler scenes. They just get to the point, and it's like you said though, Sean, to your point, where it's kind of lame. They're on these speeder bikes and having, but they do that, so it's like they're on their way to where they're going, and they have the conversation to fill
Yeah.
in the plot. So then they get there and they can just continue.
Right to it.
Yep.
And
So-
it started off hot too. The action.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
immediately,
Oh,
Right.
yeah. And did you guys know the one-eyed weirdo dude in the beginning was
Leguizamo.
yep,
John Leguizamo, yeah.
That's
Um,
hilarious. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And then yeah, I mean, to me, I mean, so far the show is just really cool because it's just exploring these other areas and species of the Star Wars lore that you kind of get
I
overlooked
think-
in the grand scheme of things.
I think one thing that was very evident is that you can tell that this is the second season after a successful first. Because
Yes.
the CGI and effects
Yes.
were above and beyond. What
Everything looks
Yeah.
much crisper. Agreed.
Yeah. The
I
dragon.
mean, yeah, the dragon was
Yes.
awesome.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Just the whole thing, I thought you could tell that the production budget was way up.
Oh yeah.
They had such a successful season 1.
You
Yeah.
think it's any coincidence that they decide to include a sand dragon now that we've seen the Dune trailer and they show those giant sandworms?
Those giant sand
Those-
buttholes.
Yeah, the sand buttholes. Just just something to think about. But yeah, I'm excited. This is currently the only show that I'm watching, really, at least that goes week to week. I haven't really been watching much lately.
That's because
This is-
nothing else
this
is out,
is-
really.
Yeah,
That too. This is
I've
probably
heard
the only
I've
show.
heard the Queen's Gambit is pretty good on Netflix.
I've heard good things
Eh.
about it. I haven't started it yet.
I'm Gucci with that.
This is the only show I
Yeah,
want to
Jim,
watch
let me
week to
know.
week. I don't want to
Yeah.
watch.
Well,
anything
you know
else
what,
week to
Jim? We
week.
let you know about good shows. And you don't always watch them, so
Actually, I never watch them.
They're
Yeah,
on the
you
list.
know. they're on the list.
So
We'll
wait, I have a
see.
question. That was that Boba Fett's armor that dude was rocking, or what
Yes.
was it?
Yeah,
that was
100%.
right.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And was that Boba Fett at the end? We don't know.
Oh,
I
good
don't
question.
think so, but It could
We
be.
don't know.
This I thought this was like post Boba Fett. Like he would like Boba Fett is dead. That's why
Well,
he's got.
Well,
Boba Fett
we
never, I mean, they
thought
never
he
confirmed
died, but
that
did he
died.
die?
He just
Oh,
went
yeah.
into the. He went into
Sarlacc
in
pit.
Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Classic. But this is
Yeah.
post Sarlacc pit, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is.
That
years
is correct,
after Return
sir.
of the Jedi. One little thing that I didn't notice, but just kind of in seeing some recap videos and things like that, which was a really cool kind of tie into the old movies. In Return of the Jedi, Han Solo like accidentally bumps into Boba Fett and malfunctions his jetpack,
Yep.
which is when he basically bounces.
Oh,
And
he
then
says,
falls.
He
"Yeah, I
takes
didn't
off on
break it."
accident. Yep.
Mandalorian goes and hits
Yep.
jetpack and it malfunctions and he shoots off into the air, which was I thought pretty cool.
It didn't. He mentioned something too. He's like, by the way, the armor was like that when I
Yeah,
got it.
he's
Yes.
like,
Right?
"It was broken
Yes.
when I got it."
Yeah. Pretty awesome.
Pretty
I-
cool.
Yeah,
Cool.
I can't wait to keep it going.
Is it going to
Although
be
because we're going to have
8
to
episodes again?
yes,
Same?
every
Okay.
Friday, which throws everything off because Alex and I used to do Mando Mondays, but because we're going to record or talk about it, we have to come up with a new weekly saying for a new date so we can be current for the show. So I'll come up with something.
Good luck.
Star Wars
Thanks.
Saturday.
I'm sure you'll be able to figure something out. I'm just going to
Oh,
watch
I
it.
will.
Just going to watch it. All right. Moving on. Got some baseball stuff we want to talk about.
Ooh.
First being the Dodgers won the World Series, beat the Rays
Ooh.
4-2 games, right?
Yes.
And
Oh, God, I'm sick of LA.
Corey Seager, World Series MVP. Clayton Kershaw gets his first ring.
How was he not the MVP, by the way?
Yeah,
Well-deserved.
2 wins and double-digit strikeouts in both games. I think he was the first pitcher to ever do that and not win the MVP.
Microscopic
So-
ERA definitely should have won.
Whatever. He
Whatever.
kind of turned around the narrative on him that he chokes in October. He had 1 bad outing this year, but other than that,
Yeah, he was good.
pretty good. And the Dodgers, they were the best team all year. So kind
They're
of fitting
stacked.
they were able to.
The
yeah, they
best
are
that money
stacked.
can buy.
Yep.
Yeah, seriously.
Well, I mean, yeah, but we talked about it last week too. I think they have drafted a lot of their players
Sure,
that have,
but they
Yeah.
they paid him as such.
right. Oh, exactly. But
Yeah.
a lot of the guy, or at least like Bellinger, he still hasn't really gotten paid big yet. But some of these guys are within, regardless, the biggest payroll in baseball compared to the Rays with one of the lower payrolls in baseball. Maybe
Pretty
even
sure
lower.
that the Rays starting rotation had a combined salary of Kershaw's salary.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and they are not going to be
Close to that.
retaining any of those players.
Well,
Well,
they-
that's how the Rays operate. That's why they're back and they're good every couple of years. They get these guys, they build them up, they go for gold, they don't lose, and they move on.
So I feel bad for them. They're just pinned behind. They've had really solid squads, like very,
Yeah.
very good teams, and they're pinned behind the Yankees and Red Sox, who are just fucking cash machines. And it's
Yeah.
like, this is their time, and they lose to
Yeah.
a different cash machine. It's
Right,
this
exactly.
is the way.
Yeah.
This is the
Spend a
way.
fuck ton of money. So Jerry Reinsdorf, you old bag.
Money
Spend
bag.
a lot of money. Yeah, money bag. So that's what we're going to focus on here. The White Sox hired a new manager, Tony La Russa. Not a conventional hire with the times, but a Hall of Famer regardless. 3-time World Series winner, 4-time manager of the year, 76 years old. So that's the one thing that kind of pops out when you look at it on the surface.
Isn't he like the third winningest manager all time?
Yes.
Yeah, he's way up
So
there.
highly successful career, but seemed like he was done with the game. His press conference, he said he's always kind of wanted to get back in the dugout. We'll see. The White Sox doesn't seem like a good fit with the roster, but the more that I've kind of like looked into it and listened to some people, like Steve Stone had an interview on ESPN that made me feel a little bit better. I think the reaction is a little bit strong in the sense that people are like on the edge. They're ready to jump off the edge. And I think you just got to pump the brakes and see how it plays out. The White Sox or Reinsdorf, Hahn, whoever, Hahn kind of was just talking through his teeth up there to save face. But they feel like this is a move to help them win a World Series now in the next year or 2, 3 years, whatever it is, however many years you can get out of a 76-year-old manager. But definitely
Big Daddy, what's your 5-year plan? Don't die.
Yeah, that does feel like what is the 5-year plan. But it just, the hard part for me is I'm not, again, we mentioned all those things. This is a Hall of Famer. It's not like you just forget how to do that. We've seen this happen before. Jack McKeon got brought in with the Marlins in 2003 when he was 70-something years old and led that team to a World Series. So crazier things have probably happened before. But
I think it's just a different game at a different time.
Based on everything they said after they fired Renteria, they basically did the opposite of what Rick Hahn said they were going to do, put a thorough search in, find a guy with recent championship experience and in tune with the game. I do think that La Russa still has been around the game, so it's not like he's just been sitting on his couch and they called him. So it's not like he's completely out of touch with where the game has gone. But he hasn't obviously been on the bench in 9 years. So it's changed a pretty good deal. But hopefully that Rick Hahn will have some power in the assistants that they are able to put around Tony La Russa. So maybe you can bring in a younger, more in tune with the game coach to surround him and maybe keep him as the manager in waiting. A name that people were throwing out when this whole search began, and I don't know if this is a pipe dream, but someone who as I've looked into, has serious aspirations to get into coaching is AJ Pierzynski, and a smart guy, just one of the smarter players that's played for the Sox since I've been a fan, and don't know how well someone like him, his personality would clash with La Russa, but I hope that's kind of the route that they go now, is they bring in someone to be like the bench coach or an assistant coach that can, if he dies in 3 years, that they've got someone to just fill the role. Manager in waiting.
I have heard you talk about the Sox this year on the program on our show for the last 3 months with conviction and excitement, and I just unfortunately had to hear you almost convince yourself that this hire was a good one. And that for me as a non-Sox fan, I think that sucks for both you and Andy, because so imagine what you just said. Oh, we're going to hire La Russa and hopefully bring in this manager in waiting. Why even do that? Why would you why wouldn't you go after a guy right now? Like, this team is built to win today. They were built to win this World Series. And because Tony La Russa wanted to manage again, or had an idea to manage again, and Jerry got word of it, he hires them because he regretted firing him 30 years ago. That's the mindset you're going with. What also makes me nervous is as soon as someone comes calling and tells Rick Hahn, hey, we'll give you a job as a president, he's gone, because he's dealt with so much crap with this team where he gets undercut, where he's finally allowed to make the team, and then Jerry comes back and says, no, never mind, here's who you're hiring. And he has to go out there and he has to lie through his teeth, despite the fact that he's probably one of, if not the most brilliant minds in baseball. And he has to deal with his turd owner time and time again, who keeps setting them back. Maybe this hire's fine. Maybe it is. Maybe they win a World Series in spite of him.
Right.
But I don't understand. I don't understand it.
Like,
if they win, I'm fine with it. Like,
sure,
then,
right.
Like that.
If you go to the
Even
World
if they
Series
don't
and lose,
But
yeah,
we're going into it
fine
with a
with
question
it
mark. The fact that we're going into it with a question mark when you had other options.
But here's the thing: at the end of the day, I'm not going into this season with a question mark about how I feel about the Chicago White Sox, because I think I could sit in the dugout and they'd win 90 to 95 baseball games this year and be a contender in the playoffs. And I think if the Sox advance, even with La Russa, if they advance into the playoffs this year, if they get to the second round, if they get to the ALCS, if they get to the World Series, them advancing in the playoffs this year is a win with this roster because they're still so young. Ideally, I would like to see them win a World Series. I think they could do that easily with La Russa. But I think it's just not what we were expecting. But that doesn't mean that it's the wrong hire.
I think it's an upgrade from Renteria, no doubt.
Definitely.
But I kind of view this as more the window rather than like, okay, this next year, let's go out and do this. I think having a manager that people want to play for is a huge deal when it comes to free agent signings, which I still think they are still 1 or 2 free agent signings away from winning a World Series. Who knows? They could go out, not sign anybody, go on, everybody improves, and then go on and win. That could definitely happen. They could also have regression and have guys come back down to earth, and then 1 or 2 free agent signings definitely put them kind of back to where they were.
Right.
I think having a manager that people want to play for, that aren't going to have a stick up their ass when they're talking about bat flips and things like that, especially a team like the White Sox, who are like the anti-Yankees.
Right.
In a way that they like to go out, have fun, show that they're having fun.
Right.
Eloy having his
but
unbuttoned halfway.
Honestly, that is like the more I've looked into that, that's like a narrative driven, like a media driven narrative that Tony La Russa is this strict hard ass that doesn't let his players, like Ricky Henderson played for him in Oakland for 10, 15 years. He's one of the flashiest players that he never butted heads with Ricky Henderson. Pujols, he pimped home runs in St. Louis from time to time. It's not like he's going to go out there and be a red ass and scream at people.
I completely disagree. At his press conference, he said several times, as long as it's sincere, as long as I view it as sincere. Okay, so you are the end all be all of how a guy can show emotion, of how a guy can pimp a home run or bat flip or be excited. He made it sound very clear that, well, yeah, but that's the wrong style of manager for this team. Then he may be that way, and that may have worked for other teams.
We don't know what encompasses.
What I'm saying,
we don't know what that encompasses.
Throughout his career, there's not like this long history of him like having butting heads with players, because like the thing that they say about him is, he goes in and he demands respect from his players in the beginning, but it's not like he's had this long history of like players fighting back against him. And he did coach a different time, but he did coach a player like Pujols, is like someone that's shown emotion throughout his career. A guy like Ricky Henderson, who has shown, was maybe the pioneer of showing emotion in baseball.
He was in 76 when he was coaching Ricky Henderson.
Right. But I mean, what's the difference? He's coached guys that had these personalities before. It's not like he can't coexist with something like that.
The difference is he was 35 at the time. Now he's almost 80. That's a huge
difference. I'm saying this. He goes into a clubhouse and he demands respect, as any good manager would. He's saying people can show emotion as long as it's within the confines. He probably doesn't. He's probably talking. He doesn't want guys pimping home runs when they're down 11 and they hit a solo shot 490 feet. You know what I mean? He's
but I
probably
don't think the Sox do that anyways.
Well, he's not going to let them. He doesn't want them doing it. So that's what I'm saying. He wants it within a certain, aura of winning. Like if emotions are high and something big happens, he's not going to yell at his guy for pimping a home run.
Which is usually where it happens with the Sox, or where it has happened with Anderson in those moments.
Right. He wants it within a certain context. And here's another thing too. Guys like Tony La Russa are going to shore up the base of your team. So I don't think your team is like over and above great defensively. He's probably looking to shore up, batten down the hatches on the little things that can be done off the field that are going to lead to wins. You know what I mean? Like, I think Tony La Russa is a good hire for you guys. I think he's what you guys need to take you from a young team who's like up and coming, and you guys kicked the door in this year, and now he's ready to like make the statement of like, we are here, and he's the guy to do it. He's got the experience to do it. Obviously he's 76, but multiple championships, third winningest coach all time. It's not an accident. It seems like where he goes, he wins. So why would this be any different? It's like,
I think that they had the most desirable job in baseball, and they shit the bed, and they hired a guy who said, I want to manage again. And instead of going through a thorough search, they said, okay, you got the job. Maybe it works out.
I think the bigger issue is that they didn't interview probably the most wanted candidate out there.
Right.
I mean,
Hinch
that's
and
true.
Cora.
But at the end of the day, when you look at available managers Tony La Russa has the best resume available of anybody that you could hire.
So did Lou Piniella when the Cubs hired him in 2005 or 2007, whenever it was.
Well, good for Lou Piniella.
Well, good for Tony La Russa.
This roster is way better than Lou Piniella's Cubs roster, though. It's not like, this is a totally different team. So
I think what Sean said has value in the sense that right now the White Sox are this really young, talented baseball team brimming with confidence and on the precipice of being great, but they don't know how to be great. They don't know how to win. They just lost in the playoffs, and albeit probably because of their managerial decisions. One thing that, I mentioned, I listened to Steve Stone on ESPN 1000, and I think we can all agree that Steve Stone knows a hell of a lot more about baseball than any of us do. And he said the one thing that you can go into every Sox game next year confidently is knowing you'll never be outmanaged by the other team when Tony La Russa is in your dugout, because no matter how old he is, he knows how to manage a baseball game. You don't forget how to do that. He knows how to press the right buttons. So at very least, you can feel confident knowing that you're not going to get out-coached by the other team. As far as relating with the other players, everyone brings up the fact that the Sox have all these Hispanic players. Well, Tony La Russa grew up in a Hispanic household and speaks Spanish fluently.
exactly.
All right. Everyone talks about his ability to relate to these younger players. Steve Stone says Tony La Russa is a reputation for being a manager that gets along with all of his players and they all respect him. And he is fully confident that this Tony La Russa is already on the phone contacting the Sox star players, if not everybody on the team, and is going to have multiple conversations. And I think at the end of the day, and this is a big if, and this is why this is a risky hire, if Tony La Russa has the energy to put forth 100% into this, he can lead the Sox and likely will lead the Sox to a World Series in the next 3 years. Because again, if they can bring one or two free agents in, and Andy, that's another question, if this rubs people the wrong way, but who knows? At the end of the day, maybe people want to come play for a Hall of Fame coach. When he gets in that dugout, he'll be the first coach since 1930 something to be an active Hall of Famer in coaching in the dugout. So at the end of the day, I just feel like the reaction was too strong to, yes, it was an unorthodox hire, but people are acting like the Sox franchise is over. It's not like that. The team is the same.
No, it's not over. It just seems like you had this built excitement. Now it plateaued because this 80-year-old manager wanted to get back in the game, and your boss had a regret from 30 years ago that he wanted to fix. So,
but if the Sox come out and start, 32 and 12, and have a 10-game lead in the AL Central, I think everyone's going to forget about that. And then all these people that were saying, acting like they're jumping off the side, they're not going to be Sox fans anymore. They're switching over to the north side.
That part's ridiculous. But you could have had AJ Hinch or Alex Cora for the next 7 to 10 years as your manager.
Who cares? Alex Cora has done nothing as a manager.
Let's see how good AJ Hinch is. He sucked in Arizona before he went to Houston. Now he's going to a Detroit team that has some pieces, but was still pretty shitty last year. And it's going to be a while.
Houston is arguably the most
happy
stacked.
That Hinch ended up in Detroit. They considered it like what he deserved basically for a
but they're an
job
up and coming team too.
But not to the same extent as the White Sox.
Not this year, but
they're damn near not even close to what the Astros were when he had them.
I mean, they finished they second to last, and they were pretty terrible this year. They got off to a decent.
They started off hot.
Fell off.
Yeah, yes. You guys lost 100 games 2 years ago, and now look at you. So I mean, that stuff switches. As a non-Sox fan, I don't understand the move.
Listen, AJ Hinch can fuck himself. He had the best lineup in baseball handed to him before. So whatever, you did what you did with that. Now he's in Detroit. We'll see what he can do. Time will tell. Alex Cora has done nothing as a manager, literally nothing. So you would want them to hire a rookie manager who has
the only
experience he has is getting fired from Boston.
I would want them to go through the process of doing an actual interview process with multiple candidates and having multiple interviews, not just a guy saying, "I want to manage again," and your boss going, "You got the job."
I think it's obvious that they wanted to stay away from the Houston situation, and it's a black mark on baseball, and the White Sox.
So
view it
you
that
hired
way,
a
and they wanna
manager
stay
who
away from it.
was one of the faces of steroids back in the 80s and 90s. What the hell's the difference?
The difference is 3 World Series, the third winningest coach all time. He's a player's coach. He has the experience that no one else in the league has, and he's ready to win. It's not like he's been out of baseball. He's been in front offices doing his
ready
thing,
to win
signing.
is such an arbitrary term. How do you know he's ready to win? He hasn't managed in 10 years.
The team is ready to win.
The team is ready to win. Yes. So I don't understand why you wouldn't interview.
What team was La Russa just in the front office of?
The Dodgers.
The Angels. The Dodgers?
He was in the he
started
out
in
in Arizona.
And
then he was an advisor for the Red Sox the year they won in 2018, and then he was an advisor for the Angels this past 2 years, I think.
And look what the Angels have done.
Okay.
They retained Mike Trout on the contract he deserved. Yeah, but they got Rendon off free agent.
And they still suck.
They signed Joe Madden.
They still suck.
Listen, the Angels are
again,
stacked,
to Sean's
but he's
point,
made
that's like
moves that you would look for out of a manager. He's made moves or out of a front office.
You think he was involved with any of those moves, honestly?
Who knows?
He's in the front office. I mean, what do you think he's doing? Filling up Pepsi
Read
and
about
sure
baseball front offices. Read about baseball front offices and all the fluff they have. He was not involved in any one of those decisions. I can almost guarantee you.
We'll have to look it up, but the point is the Angels have.
But again, Jim, you're kind of falling in that crowd of people like acting like there's no merit to Tony La Russa's name.
I'm not acting like there's no merit.
It's just a coincidence that all this success is surrounding him, no matter where he goes. And even to Sean's point, if the Angels haven't been good on the field, like the fact that there's all these people that are kind of flocking to LA or Anaheim. Like I'm pretty sure him and Joe Madden have crossed paths at a certain point. So I doubt that, obviously Joe Madden was in the Angels organization, so that played more of a part into it. But I mean, that's the thing that's kind of like the fact that he's old, I get, but people are throwing around Tony La Russa's name like a joke, like it should have no merit, when it's like, I mean, this is an all-time name in baseball.
I don't think it should have no merit. I just think and
it's not like it's Tommy Lasorda who's out there. Like,
no, I just think
like
that you
can't
guys
even breathe anymore. It's Tony La Russa's been active in baseball.
I think for the umpteenth time, your president was handicapped in his ability to make the correct baseball choice.
And that sucks too. But if I was a billionaire and owned a sports team, at the end of the day, if I wanted something to happen and I had the power to do that, then
yeah, but you've been complaining about that for the Sox and Bulls for the past 10 years. You can't have it both ways. Either you do it or you don't.
It sucks, but like at the end of the day,
this isn't Jim Boylan.
Right, this exactly.
This isn't a guy that they're bringing in who's an assistant who has no experience as a head coach or as a manager in this case. This is a guy who is a Hall of Famer already. World Series, multiple stops with teams that he's been on. Success tends to follow this guy. He doesn't follow success.
Pat, I mentioned this to you.
That's the leader you want.
I mentioned this to you, and I'm still waiting for it, and I hope it comes out soon. There has been no player endorsement yet. Nobody has come out and said, I am excited about this. With something like that, I would hope that, a Tim Anderson, a Jose Abreu, those guys who are known leaders of this team, I would hope that one of them comes out and is in full advocacy for this move, and it hasn't happened yet.
And I agree. That would make me feel better.
It's because Tony La Russa is not a 42-year-old guy who just got done playing 2 years ago. So they don't know what they're getting into. That guess what? Change is good. You know what I mean? Jumping into the unknown.
For sure. We all called for Ricky Renteria to be fired, and it just does. I don't know. It doesn't seem like they did
Everyone's
their due diligence
because he didn't. Just because Tony La Russa didn't step off a baseball field and onto a manager bench doesn't mean anything. Like the trends are.
No, it doesn't. But just because he has a Hall of Fame career doesn't mean anything either. He hasn't managed in 10 years. I guess what the issue was, you could have had, and again, we've talked about this before. Managers bring, I don't even know, a handful of wins to. I think they're the lowest amount in all the sports in terms of the effect they have on a season, especially because there's
I
160.
feel like they don't affect the wins as much as they can lose you games with their decision.
Correct. Yes. Okay. Yes. Maybe that's. And again, as a non-Sox fan, it just seems like, I don't know. You guys have arguably the most exciting team in baseball, and maybe it will work out. It just seems like it wasn't done to the best that it could have been, considering like 2 years ago, you guys finally said, let's tear it down, let's rebuild it. And it worked. And the plan was working. And until he decided he wanted to manage again, you were going to have this interview process. You're going to vet all these possible candidates, and you would have gotten the best person for this job. And maybe he is that. It just doesn't. It just kind of seems like right now. But we'll have to let it play out and see what happens, I guess.
I mean, as a Sox fan, I will say that it is frustrating, I guess, to see Rick Hahn not get the opportunity to, because it doesn't seem like this is his guy, and he's done such a great job with this whole rebuild. So in that sense, it's frustrating. But again, at the end of the day, like Sean said, to compare it to what the Bulls have been going through, it's not like you're bringing in Jim Boylan and you're holding on to some clown. Sure. I mean, if they win a World Series out of this, then
it's all for nothing.
It's fine.
Right. And then we don't worry about it.
But it's baseball. So if the bar is winning a World Series or bust, then
if they go to the ALCS,
no matter who they hire. Exactly.
I think if they progress this year, then it was the right move.
Exactly right.
If they advance 1-2 rounds into the playoffs, if they obviously you win the World Series, that's the ultimate goal for every team, and you're going to be.
If you're in contention for a World Series, then that's where the expectation should be. You guys should be in contention to win a World Series. You should be championship caliber team, division winning. But if the bar is, if we don't win a World Series, then this is a bust. You're wrong, because it's baseball,
not bust,
and it
but
took
it's
the
super
Dodgers.
Disappointing,
right?
Right?
Well, obviously, it's
so now what you have
for
to
every
do, though.
team, but what are the chances for even the best teams of winning a World Series once they get there? Right?
But how would you feel about the Cubs if
win.
they never won in 2016? I mean, we lived through the golden era of Cubs baseball, but had you not won, would you be saying the same thing right now? That yes, it was successful. I mean, yeah, it's successful on paper, but
the Bears were successful. They never won a Super Bowl.
I agree with Sean there, is that the World Series, I think, might be tougher than most.
Right. Took the Dodgers 3 goes.
Exactly. That's what I was going to use as an example.
Well, 5 years in total, because they were in the NLCS every year except 2015.
The Dodgers have been there for the last 6 years.
They have the highest payroll.
Right. Exactly.
So to that point, the World Series is hard to win. To Sean's point, I think progression is the most important thing.
Correct.
And the only way they're going to do that, Andy, you mentioned this earlier, is now, if this is the hire that they made. So this is the reality. Tony La Russa is the White Sox manager. Now, Jerry Reinsdorf needs to double down.
Trump is your president.
He needs to double down. He's got to double down and spend a shit ton of money this offseason. He's got to spend a lot of money this offseason.
That's another good point.
And he's got to go out and, maybe a guy like Trevor Bauer doesn't seem like he would mesh well with Tony La Russa, but pay him a ton of money and see if he'll come here and play for him. And maybe it won't be as bad as you think. Go out there and try and give George Springer a ton of money. Bring in whoever you can bring in to try and put this team over the top. And to your point, get to the ALCS, give yourself a chance to compete for a World Series, set up a nice little rivalry with the Yankees the next few years.
So, Pat, I'm glad you brought that up. So this is specific to you and Andy. Given how rumors are right now that baseball is not going to be handing out money like they have been in years past, and given Jerry's typical spending habits, do you give him a year of grace because he's probably not going to go out and give George Springer a couple $100 million or go after Trevor Bauer for $40 million a year? Or are you still like, I don't care that there's a pandemic, you're worth billions, you brought in this manager, you better go. All right, so to clarify all that, will your opinion change on a Tony La Russa hiring if Jerry doesn't go out and spend money?
Not really. I think he's a cheap ass owner for the money that he does have already. So it wouldn't surprise me.
See, I think Jerry feels like he's already paid his money in extending the contracts of Moncada, TA, and Abreu.
That was Grandal, the biggest free agent signing in the history of the Sox. That's unbelievable.
If you guys can go out and convince George Springer to come to the White Sox.
Well, here's another thing that has to come into play too, is the Sox actually have a really kind of important decision to make on James McCann, because that is Lucas Giolito's personal catcher. And you've seen now in 2 seasons that he pitches his best to McCann. He can pitch to Grandal, but not to the same level of success that he has with McCann. And McCann, again, was one of the best catchers in baseball this year, playing
He was
part-time.
better than Grandal this year, in my opinion.
And they were both finalists for Gold Glove. McCann was, I mean, his numbers were better at the plate, but he had less at bats. I think Grandal was actually there's something about Grandal to his ability to be extremely effective without putting up huge flashy numbers.
Agreed.
Like, his numbers weren't the greatest, but he had big moments where he drove in, he had a couple walk-offs, I think, and just he has this ability to kind of step up into the moment regardless of how he's playing. And obviously being a switch hitting catcher to a Gold Glove ability is just such a crucial piece to have for your team. Now they've declined the option on Encarnacion,
which they should have. He was a waste of money,
now
but didn't hurt
that
you.
gives a good reason to bring McCann back. You can kind of figure out a DH rotation maybe and really work Eloy into there maybe permanently.
No, he's too young to do permanently, but definitely work him in.
But have him and McCann and
Grandal
kind of do some sort of like cycling DH, and I really think they need to go get like one starting pitcher, like top 2 starting pitcher to kind of put in between or after Keuchel and Giolito, and then maybe 1 to 2 bullpen arms, like legit bullpen arms.
Here's my either or to both of you. If you get one of them, do you want George Springer or do you want Trevor Bauer?
I'd rather have Bauer.
Definitely.
I think our lineup is fine.
The offense is too good.
Yeah, our offense is. We don't need to add pieces there, really.
But he also improves you immensely on
defensively.
defense.
Yeah, I mean, we do.
Sure.
We will probably have a new right fielder. I don't know what the deal with Mazzara is.
I was excited for that guy for you guys too.
They just
I was too.
Lurie Garcia.
Yeah. Okay.
Or
what
about Garcia. A guy like what's his name in Atlanta?
Ozuna.
Yes, Ozuna.
I think he's an upgrade at the. I mean, he's a good in the lineup, but I don't think he's a great fielder. So I don't know. I mean, obviously, you'd love to add a bat,
no matter what.
Yeah,
okay.
You need one more starter.
And how do you guys feel about Kopech? Are you just whatever about him?
I think he'll be a rotation guy when he comes starter, back. But you can't go into the season depending on that.
Him too.
Yeah,
especially the way the last 3 years have gone.
He hasn't shown anything.
No, I agree.
Well, he's got the physical elements. He hasn't proven mentally
that he pitched
well.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, no, he did
pitched
when he
well
pitched.
his rookie season before he got hurt. But mentally, I think there's a lot going on there, and he's got a lot going on in his life.
So you would hope he'd be your 5th starter?
That would be probably
I think he's going to be
right
bullpen.
now.
Do you really?
Yeah.
They might have him be the closer actually, because I don't think they're going to re-sign Colomé.
That's not a bad idea.
He's giving you any reason to.
I think they declined his option too. Actually, if
maybe actually with like kids, and again, we don't know that he has mental. I don't mean mental issues in life. I mean in baseball. No, maybe that'll be kind of a nice transition for him to get back into just solely focus on you're going out there for 1, sometimes 2.
He's got the stuff for it.
Get 3 outs, get us out of the game.
He would be an amazing. If you guys lock down a solid pitcher to move him to the closing position, would be fucking amazing. But you have to lock down that pitcher, because if not, he's the starter.
Crochet is maybe another option there too, depending. I don't think his
he
injury
wants to be a starter, right? Isn't that his?
Probably, but his stuff too is just.
Could you imagine going from him to Kopech, 2 guys who can throw 100 miles an hour with crazy, ridiculous movement on their? Okay, so you're starting or your pitching rotation is who? Giolito, Keuchel, and then who?
Dunning, Cease, and fill in with the names that we're talking about.
You guys for sure need one more like premium pitcher. If you have Dunning and Cease,
if we had Bauer, Giolito, and Keuchel, and then fill in, I mean, that would the Sox would be probably one of the favorites in the AL next year.
What other pitchers are out there besides Bauer?
Stroman.
Stroman ripped the Russa signing. He's pretty much out.
He's not coming. So I don't know if I really want Stroman anyway. He's been kind of inconsistent.
He'd still be an upgrade.
Oh, he'd be an upgrade.
Pitching staff.
He's not Bauer though. Bauer's the jewel.
Nobody is. Yeah. For sure.
So we'll see, and hopefully, maybe they can get creative in other ways. But I do think there's a lot of pitching in our pipeline that there's just so much unknown still with Kopech.
Right. That's why you got to go sign a pitcher.
No, we need to sign someone.
You have to go sign a pitcher, and not just a pitcher. You have to sign. I mean, you don't have to sign Trevor Bauer, but gosh, that would be something.
That's why Kopech choosing to sit out the season was such a blow now, because it would have been so valuable for him to get that experience. And now he's 18 months.
How would you guys feel about Corey Kluber? Because they declined his option.
What does he have left in the tank?
Yeah, I mean, that's the question. But
even if
he's your number 3.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
Guess you're right.
He might be a good value find. Or do you go and trade some of your peaches for a guy like Lance Lynn?
I was going to say Lynn kind of
was not horribly expensive at all.
It does not look like a pitcher either. I don't understand how he does it.
But neither did Bartolo Colon for 80 years that he pitched.
That's true. That is true.
Big sexy.
Maybe the most entertaining.
Buddies.
But you know what? If you don't get a pitcher this offseason, it's not a complete waste, because there's going to be some Rays pitchers hitting the market.
Yes, there are.
Oh, so, Charlie Morton actually just got cut by the Rays. They didn't pick up his option. So
I saw that.
I would be down for that. That's just a guy who just pitches innings, inning eater, and has pitched in a ton of playoff games.
Which is good for you guys, because I'm not sure how good your bullpen is.
Right.
Sean, did you see that the Cardinals let go of Colton Wong for an $11 million option? Like, that's nothing. There are going to be some names out there that are available.
So I'm saying, get creative, scoop some guys up that maybe you didn't think was going to be there. All right, real quick, and then we're going to do a Hall of Fame. We'll wrap it up after this. Kind of a sad, bittersweet maybe for you guys. But the Cubs, speaking of declined options, the Cubs declined John Lester's team option and makes him a free agent.
Still a lot of talk of him coming back, though.
Okay.
For like
Lester,
like 5
Lester deal.
So they bought him out for 10. His option was 25. Bought him out for 10. A lot of talk of anywhere in the $4 to $6 million range. Or potentially him going to Atlanta, because that's where he lives in the offseason. So,
well, the point of bringing this up is this past weekend, John Lester opened up a tab at a handful of Chicago bars.
Yep. And
does anyone know what the final numbers ended up being for what he spent? He was posting about it on Twitter.
I didn't see.
Right or around 10 grand.
Spent about $10,000 on Miller Lights for patrons of Chicago bars, and kind of seems like a farewell gesture.
He left 34% gratuity at each place in honor of his number.
Nice.
Did he really?
Right.
Yeah.
Good guy, John Lester. Yeah. As a Sox fan, I have no bad things to say about John Lester or his time as a Cub.
Except that we don't get to play him.
Yeah, because we did
because you
light him up this year.
I mean, again, as a Sox fan, he's probably a top 3 to 5 free agent signing in Chicago history.
He might be the number 1 free agent signing.
For me, it's Marian Hossa, I think, in terms of all-time free agent.
For sure.
But maybe Lester's too.
Yeah.
I just think in terms of what the Cubs were able to accomplish with him, and just breaking the curse. It's just there's so much more kind of to that storyline and the Hawks are kind of lesser, when in the hierarchy of Chicago sports.
You're right.
It's not,
You're right.
But yeah, just a really good competitor and great pitcher, and just never really gives you a reason to not like him. And I'm always looking for reasons to not like Cubs players. So kind of hard for me to have him on the team the last few years, because he's just a competitor. He's a gamer.
Exactly. Yeah. He set the tone for the team when he was on the mound and when he was not. He was a leader for sure for our team. He stepped up in a big way, and we got him right when we needed him too.
Yep.
And obviously we got David Ross out of it. So, and he was solid for us too, but
exactly.
Right. Look at him now. But yeah, Lester, great guy. I love the bar tab situation. I hope we can retain him, even though he's kind of lost. This year was a little tough for him, but I'm glad we're out of the option.
He'd be a good 5th pitcher. Oh, me too, because that's saving us a ton of money in a year where the Cubs are already crying poor and have been for 2 years, even though their owner's a billionaire.
in a year where we have to spend money to retain our quote unquote busted ass stars.
Core, right?
Well, dude,
Yeah.
the Cubs
Ridiculous.
built their whole financial future basically on human interaction and being
Yep.
able to go to the ballpark and have the
Yep.
whole Wrigley experience. So,
Yep.
eh,
Yeah, it's not looking good.
fine.
Quote fans.
yeah.
Right.
So, John Lester, if this is your last game time in Chicago, whatever. I
Thank you,
guess you
sir.
were cool.
Pretty sweet. You wore the number 34 well.
Sure did.
It is an iconic number in Chicago.
Show is.
All right, we're gonna wrap up with a Hall of Fame. Was supposed to be a mock draft. Everyone, the others had a little bit of trouble coming up.
I still could have gone mock draft.
I've
but
got
you
a
know
big
what?
board here.
I could not have.
Big
Some of my
board.
items are seasonal.
There's a lot of Taco Bell.
Mel Kiper over there, dude. You
Board.
slick your hair back, shave that mustache.
Andy got the Mel Kiper look going a little bit
Yeah, he
more than
does.
me.
That's
You threw your
true.
glasses on.
That's what we should do. ESPN analysts one year. For,
That would be hilarious.
That'd be
that'd
great.
be real funny.
All
I
right,
have to
so-
do
think
that. Pat has to go as Boomer.
Boomer.
I could be Boomer.
I'm clearly Scott Van Pelt.
I'd have to figure it out. I'd go blackface Stephen A.
You could be John Clayton
John Clayton
with the
God
mullet.
Damn it.
Ah,
Yeah, the Chinese food. Great.
All right, so we're gonna do a Hall of Fame, but we're gonna do a top 5. We have 5. Did everyone able to think?
Yes.
5?
Oh, yeah.
Are we including seasonal items or no?
We'll
Those
talk.
those are in our honorable mentions later.
Strictly. Okay.
Right.
mine are seasonal.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
Okay. Well, we're
'Cause there's at least for me, there are few things that I remember that are coming back like they only were here once and then went away forever.
I have a few things.
so
that-
I have a mix of. Well, my board is a mix of things that are like reoccurring items, and some were like one-time items.
Like the McRib is seasonal.
Okay, so that's what you're
That's
talking
fair.
about. Okay.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fair.
and
That's
to be
what
clear,
this was based
is
on.
this is in honor of the McRib.
Right.
So
Right,
I'm gonna
that's
go
cannot
get one
include
after this.
cannot include the McRib
Well,
on the list. Right?
hold
I
on,
haven't had one
though.
in a while.
The reason was because this is actually the first time in 12 years that the McRib's been available nationwide. So the
Mm.
McRib is a reoccurring item, but it doesn't reoccur everywhere.
Interesting.
So
I am gonna go get one as soon as the
that's
show's
why I
over.
also put like one-off items on mine because we'll talk about those later. Let's just start. Let's just start at. We'll go from 5. I don't really have an order, and I'm kind of now I have to narrow mine down.
Oh, I have an order.
So someone else can go first, or start. Let's start with 5. Jimmy, go first then.
All right, I'm gonna go with the pumpkin donut from Dunkin' Donuts.
Nice.
Look forward
Very
to
good
it every
choice.
year. Every year.
My number.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
John.
My number 5 is going to be in honor of Rick and Morty, McDonald's Szechuan sauce.
Okay.
I never
Okay.
got. I've heard it's amazing, and there's an episode basically based around it. So
Um,
5 is the Shamrock Shake.
nice.
nice. Okay, mine. I think this should count. It used to be a regular item at McDonald's. Then they took it away, and then they brought it back, and now it's gone again. The snack wrap,
Mm,
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
crispy honey mustard specifically, but crispy ranch is good too.
Crisp.
I
Honey
love the
Must.
snack wrap. It was devastating when that was removed. They didn't even tell us. They just took it away.
Leave Brittany alone.
All right. Moving on.
Jimmy.
I'm gonna go with the rodeo burger from
Yeah.
Burger King, which came out. What was it for the Wild Wild West movie?
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
And
West.
then it was gone for a while, and now it's
Now
back.
it's back. I'll
It's
allow
not
it
like
though.
I don't
Because it
think it's
was
an
out of
official menu item. I think you just order it and they make it.
You're
Unless
right,
I'm wrong
'cause
about that.
they had it as an official menu item, and then they had a rodeo chicken sandwich. Like they use it promotionally, I think.
Yes,
So
okay.
I'll allow it.
All right, thanks.
Rodeo
That's
Burger is
definitely
on my list.
Okay.
Me
Love the-
too.
See, I
You
wasn't
know what?
sure.
I'm gonna go get a McRib and a rodeo burger when this is over.
Sounds like a hell of a day
Oh yeah.
for your toilet.
So I also
Oh, yeah.
had a rodeo burger on my list, but I'll pick other stuff. to like round out. But that's a great one. The
All right.
rodeo burger is one of the all-time greats.
I'll pick something else too. I'm gonna go with sticking with Burger King, the Burger King Cine Mini.
Oh,
Those things
yeah.
were
those were
fire,
really
dude.
good.
What
Those
was
are
it?
the ones that I
Oh, so
remember.
good.
But it's just
The-
mini cinnamon rolls, and then you get the sauce on the
See,
side.
like oblivious to that.
Dude,
Yeah.
you gotta get out there and
Delectable.
try the promotional items.
I don't
gotta
do
live
much
a little.
fast food.
Yeah, I feel
That's
ya.
probably
Smart.
that's probably my
Smart.
downfall for this list.
all of these memories are mostly from high school, mostly.
But
Some of
not
these
for your
are
health, Andy,
very
so that's
recent.
probably a good thing.
Okay, I'm gonna go with the volcano burrito from Taco Bell.
Oh, the volcano tacos. Are
Just the volcano like menu in general, like even just having volcano sauce at Taco Bell would be great if they would just bring that back. But the volcano
Yep.
burrito was awesome and would give me amazingly terrible fire dumps the next day.
That's because you weren't pre-tumming.
That was pre-tum era.
That was pre-tum. Gotcha.
PPT.
Woo!
I'm gonna go with the Doritos Locos Tacos Cool Ranch, which is now fucking gone.
Rest in peace.
It was the better of the two Doritos Locos. No offense against the nacho cheese one. And
The
they,
spicy nacho was
took it
pretty
away.
good. They had that for a while and also gone.
Cool Ranch
also-
taco is on my list.
yeah.
Nice,
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
that was very delicious. I'm gonna go.
Why they like?
They gave no rhyme or reason.
It sounded like those were going to be permanent fixtures, and the one still is.
Thought so
right?
too. Yep. Yeah, the nacho cheese.
Yeah.
They just did it to save money. Can we go with a non-food item? Hear me out.
Depending
number
on what
three-
it is.
My number 3 is a shout out to the old McDonald's toys you used to get in the Happy Meals, the baller ones, the ones that were collectibles, the ones that were actually Transformers. I'm talking real toys. Now, Happy Meal toys are garbage, dude.
You're going with
Nothing.
like overall just
That's
old
true.
toys, not even a
Old
specific
toys?
one.
Fuck the food. I'm saying, dude, any of them. They had the Beanie Babies, they had the Power Rangers, they had the Transformers, they had the
Batman
other.
glasses.
Exactly. The toys
Batman
that they
cups
used
that
to
would
give
change
out,
color. Yeah.
Or the
the toys
Rodman
they
cups
used to
where
give
his
out-
hair changed
Rodman
color.
the Bulls,
cups.
the Bulls promotion, the sports promotion. Listen, the toys you used to get from McDonald's were fire, and nowadays you could basically just throw them away after one
Dude,
use.
you can just go buy a $200 chicken nugget pillow on Travis Scott's website. Just
Yeah.
do that.
God.
I thought you were gonna shock the world and talk about your pumpkin head anal beads that you have because it's.
I thought it was gonna
seasonal.
be
I was getting a little
something, yeah.
nervous here. I was
Right?
like,
Some
Sean,
apple
don't
cider
tell that to the
dildos.
people. Don't tell that to the world.
I have pumpkin head anal beads.
He shocked himself.
Listen, the
Man,
toys
what a
used to be
night that
collectible.
was, huh?
You can go check it out. You can buy old McDonald's toys you could sell them for real money.
Oh, yeah.
Dude. Like people want that shit big
So
time.
to
New
to
toys,
kinda-
no one wants that shit.
to support your point, last year they did a Peanuts toys, and they were going for buku bucks on eBay because they made them like legit
Yes.
toys like they used to.
They
And
brought
people-
it back
yeah.
and made them for
Yeah.
real. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's all
Quick
I'm saying.
side note, how about Apple TV just buying all the Charlie Brown shows and just being like, fuck you, not playing them on TV anymore?
Damn.
Well, I didn't know that happened.
Yeah. Just like a week ago, they bought all the Peanut
Damn.
stuff. So now
So
Charlie
you
Brown
have
Christmas.
to get Apple Music
Yeah, it's
or
not-
Apple TV. I mean,
Yeah, none of that'll be on TV anymore. It's
Well,
just on
it
Damn.
wouldn't be,
Apple
it wouldn't be 2020 if someone didn't monopolize happiness. So
are you what this?
Plus.
you know,
So true.
fucking
All right.
cowards.
We'll continue. Am I up or who's up? Sean picked toys. So Andy, I
So
think
it's
you're
you.
up.
Oh yeah, it is me. My bad. No, because I already said I had.
Oh,
the
you're right.
top-
Yeah.
Hold on a
Um,
second.
all right.
What about the old school Pokemon toys that you used to get? You guys remember that? The Pokeball with the golden thing inside?
That
remember
was pretty
that.
cool.
I'm saying that's old school McDonald's stuff. You
All
guys,
right. I'll allow it. I didn't say I didn't allow it. It was
It's
just you know.
fine. Everything's fine.
All right. I'm
Freak
going to
it
go
out.
with Riley's chicken salad.
Ugh.
The
nice.
best. They don't always have it. We had
Yeah.
it for our shower last week, and I brought
Nice.
a giant tub of it home, and I ate it for like a week straight, and I still aren't sick of it. So And
There you go.
Jimmy, go
Thank
ahead.
you.
Go ahead.
No, you say it. No, I was hemming you to give me credit.
No. You go ahead.
You say it.
Jimmy.
I was hemming you for you to say it. I didn't want to say it. I wanted you to say
present
it.
your idea, please.
I wanted you to say it.
Jimmy, present your
fine.
creative culinary creation.
Fine. So it's widely known I'm a culinary genius. So I decided to spice up the chicken salad, which for the record doesn't need it. But I put 2 pieces of Martin's potato bread, toasted it, put mayo on 1 piece of bread, slapped the chicken salad on the other, drizzled some mustard on top, and added craisins to finish it off.
Damn, really decorating it.
I
like
tried it. It was good.
It was good.
It
I
was
had to
good.
send it to Pat because
It was
even
good.
though he makes fun of me for him, he respects my culinary creations.
I made it twice and it was good.
Okay, good. See, that makes me happy.
Boom.
All right.
All right, I'm gonna go with anything from the Red Lobster Lobster Fest menu
Nice.
because I'm a fan.
Nice.
Pat and I used to go there. My grandma would take us all the time because we loved Red Lobster, and we would always get the ultimate feast, and then eventually.
I have never eaten at a Red Lobster.
What?
I've only been there once.
Andy's like, I only eat at classy seafood restaurants.
No, I've never been. I've
Wait,
never
really?
been to I've never been to an Olive Garden. I've never been to a Red Lobster.
Between the two of you, you've
I'm
been to
s-
Red Lobster one time.
Yes.
I'm starting to understand why Andy had so much trouble putting this list together.
Sometimes Pat and I would convince our Bubby to take us to Red Lobster twice in a week.
I've
That's how
only-
much we used to go to
I've
Red
been to
Lobster.
Olive Garden 3
Dude,
times, and it's because it was a paid team meal when we were in wrestling.
Dude, Jimmy, I think about that sometimes too. It's so funny because the ultimate feast is like $30.
Yeah.
So my grandma, and it comes with like a lobster tail, crab legs,
3
shrimp
different kinds of
scampi,
shrimp.
fried
fries.
shrimp,
Yep.
fried. Dude, it was the best. And then you eat a shit ton of the Cheddar Bay biscuits
Yep.
beforehand. Like, yeah, we would go there, and grandma would probably drop like $100 every time we went to Red Lobster.
Pretty sure we stopped going when you and I started ordering 2 ultimate feasts, and she was like, "All right, fuck you guys, I'm not doing this anymore. You can
This
pay
is
for your own food."
bullshit.
If,
Good times.
Well, damn, I wish we would have known about this years ago, so we could have had a team outing at Red Lobster. But now Sean's moving across the world in the weekend. We can't go anyways because they're all closed. But
I'll look
When
for
you're
a Red
back,
Lobster
Sean, when
with an
you're back.
alternate menu. Yeah.
when you're back,
Yeah.
We'll go
Sean's
to
gonna
Red
find Red
Lobster.
Lobster in
A
Germany.
celebratory
meeting.
occasion. Sean's back from Germany.
let's go to Red Lobster.
Yes. All right, I'll
Oh,
mark the
boy.
calendar.
All right.
Um,
Does it matter? Anytime we mark a calendar, we always fail to come through with it anyways.
Very
Actually,
true.
that's
Very
not
true.
true. We've been on a roll lately.
We have been
We've
good.
been better. We've been better.
Yeah.
My next item is the pumpkin spice latte at Starbucks, which
Yes.
is just
Had it on my list.
My
my favorite
going
Starbucks
with-
seasonal drink.
Yeah, it's the only one that I know of, probably. I'm going with Taco Bell's waffle taco, and I've had it
Nice.
one time. It was in honor of James Gerace, who loves Taco Bell breakfast more than any other breakfast.
Taco Bell,
Taco Bell breakfast
does
is
it right.
Pretty
He
good.
loves it.
Pretty
They
good.
That's
do it
not a
right.
normal item.
No, they don't have that anymore.
It's gone. Yeah.
Their breakfast Crunch Wrap Supreme is really good.
Really?
Yeah, real good.
Sounds pretty fire.
All right, I'm gonna go for my next one. Also a Taco Bell item, the bacon cheesy potato burrito.
Ooh.
Oh
This
yes.
was available 2012
Bless you, sir.
maybe.
Thank you.
2011. I remember getting. We used to go over to. Someone lived over in Bensonville, and we'd go there, and then on the way back, we would stop at the Taco Bell in Bensonville, and Greg Pottiglu worked there, and he would exchange Taco Bell with Corey for some other stuff, and we would just get a shit ton of Taco Bell, and I would get a bunch of cheesy potato burritos. Good times.
Shout out to the spot that was next to that Taco Bell that
Yes.
used to be
Love
amazing.
the
Then
spot.
then changed owners and wasn't as good.
And then
but
they had the
great place.
spot 2, which was
Yep.
in Elmhurst for like 12
by
minutes.
Mr. G's.
Yep.
There. Okay.
All right.
So
one
my
more
number
round
one.
here.
If I was doing a mock draft of Hall of Fame only caliber items, this is my favorite seasonal item anywhere of all time. I plan my weekends around this item sometimes. It is the Shamrock Shake. I have one literally every weekend that it's available. I don't. Every weekend I have a Shamrock Shake.
Holy shit.
I absolutely love it. It is my favorite, maybe my favorite restaurant item of all time, but for sure my favorite seasonal or limited item menu of all time. I love
So
the
weird
That is
sometimes.
an
dude. My
outrageous
favorite
claim.
restaurant item of
Yes.
all time is the
Yes.
Shamrock Shake.
Well, I'm sorry. A fast
No, it's just
food,
like a
fast food
milkshake.
restaurant.
Okay,
Fast
fast food.
food.
Fast
Okay.
food, makes it a
restaurant.
little better.
Still a
Yes.
bold
Still
claim.
a pretty bold claim.
And I will stand by that.
Milkshake
Favorite
is your
restaurant
favorite
item
fast
ever.
Stand
food
by
item
it.
of all time. I've
Yes.
got like 12 on my list I'd have before Shamrock
Oh,
Shake.
I
no
do love
way.
the Shamrock
I
Shake.
It is
have one
good.
literally every weekend.
My
It
number
is
one
good.
item, if it was
Jim.
if it was Hall of Fame, this would be my number one seasonal item. Seasonal item. It's also a shake. It's the Portillo's strawberry lemon shake.
Oh,
I still
had
haven't tried that
Did
yet.
you guys-
I had that for the
So
first time
I-
this year.
I tried the strawberry lemon one, and I didn't like it as much as the normal lemon cake.
I haven't had the lemon
The
cake
lemon
one
cake
yet
is
either.
also very good, but the strawberry lemon is such a solid combo.
Here's
Just a
why,
flavor
Andy.
combo.
Next time you
Oh.
try it when it's out, have them not include the strawberry chunks in it. It makes a difference because
Can you do that?
Yes, because they have a
Jim, I
different
feel like when you walk into places, they're like, "Oh God, this guy
This fucking
again.
guy again.
He's gonna have me cut out his bread and chop
Well,
it
it's
finely
funny
and put
because
in a
when it comes to
blender."
that, I'm the exact opposite typically. But when I have what I like, I have to get it that way. But Andy, back to what I was saying to you. So they add to the strawberry shake, they add like the strawberry chunks, and I didn't like it, so I had them omit them and just
So
do
they
the
swapped it for
regular.
spit.
No, they just did a
Yeah.
normal strawberry
This
shake
fucking guy.
with a lemon cake in there. That's it.
All right, good to know.
It's
I thought it was
so-
too sweet when I had this.
That's
Wow.
wow. The strawberries. I'm telling you.
I was good. I ate it. I don't even like when I get a cake shake, I don't even drink it. I usually eat it with a spoon, and I was down in this thing. It
That's
was
what
awesome.
I dump out the shake for the kids and I eat the soggy cake at the bottom. It's my favorite
just
part.
eat the
Sean,
whole
I'm
thing
glad
with
I'm
the
not
sp-
the
yeah.
only one.
Yeah, that's how I do it. It's the easiest way.
Yes.
We need to hire a cameraman to follow Jimmy around and just capture
Listen, I've been saying this for years. I have a very interesting life.
Jim
If
TV.
people followed me around, they would be mildly to
starts-
slightly
He
entertained.
wakes up at 5:45 sharp, immediately goes rock climbing. No.
All right.
My last one is the pumpkin cream cold brew from Starbucks.
Very good.
Never heard of that.
And that is
Very good.
Just an amazing drink.
Actually,
Phenomenal.
I forget, when we were in Wisconsin, I think they told me to order this to get the iced Americano with the pumpkin
Ooh,
cream. And it's like
Interesting.
more, it's not as pumpkiny, but you still get with like a better like coffee.
the
jolt.
effervescence of pumpkin.
Yeah. All right. Sean, did you go already? I
Yeah.
totally lost track. Okay. My last one, Jim, I'm going to pick this one in honor of you because
Thank you.
you're, as Shrek would say, you're like an onion, dude. You have all these layers that we just peel back and find more and more stuff. But Burger King had
Thank
a
you.
burger promotion when Shrek came out, the sourdough burger, which came on sourdough bread and had bacon and guacamole on it. And I used to, well, when it was out, when I was like 12, I ate it a handful of times and I always remember it and wish they would bring it back. So,
I like
honor
that.
of Jimmy being like Shrek for having layers like an onion.
Sourdough makes for the second best French toast behind brioche. Fun fact.
Really.
Personal
Do
opinion.
you have an iPhone's note list with the preferred ranking of French
Rankings
toast
of breads
breads
for French
I
toast.
do not, and I'm kind of disappointed at myself that I don't.
I mean, the fact that you clearly have a mental list of top French toast spreads.
I'm a
This
big
is
list
something
guy.
that has never
I'm a big
crossed
list
my
guy.
brain before.
I like it.
Thank you, Sean.
Jimmy,
All right,
you can just
honorable
be the bread
Everything should
guy.
be ranked.
All right,
everything should
honorable
be ranked.
mentions.
Okay, so I have.
I mean, I
both
had the
lemon-
Shamrock Shake way up
Yes.
on mine, but you guys all said it, so I didn't
Thank
want to.
Nobody said the McRib.
Nope.
Well,
Isn't that funny?
It
The
was
whole
in
No,
honor
no,
of the
the
McRib.
McRib,
I'm
yeah.
like, I'm okay on McRib. I'll get it every once in a while.
Pat,
but,
what makes a better rib sandwich?
those I can't remember what they're called. The frozen rib sandwiches that we used to get from Sam's Club.
Fucking ain't right they are.
Dude, way better.
Grandma
than
used to
McRib.
buy us those too.
Grandma fed us so much.
Shout out to Grandma.
She did.
Bub.
I
we
had
love you.
I had both of the lemon cake shake and the Portillo's chocolate cake on there. I also have Christmas tree cakes and Sugar Cookie Toast Crunch, which if you haven't tried it yet,
Oh.
it's the Christmas version of Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Damn, I gotta try that. I love
Yeah.
cinnamon toast
I
crunch.
had
Delectable.
the Big and Tasty from McDonald's. It was like a kind of
Yeah.
like a bigger quarter pounder.
Remember the Arch Deluxe?
It kept showing up, but I didn't
I
remember
saw that on
that.
a list, but I didn't
Yeah.
know what it was.
It was like a
Um,
fancy Big Mac with bacon.
I don't know if you guys remember these
Pretty good.
from Quiznos subs back in the day. They had these torpedo and bullet subs. They were
Yep.
like $3 or $4, like
Equip
long,
no
thinner. Yeah.
subs. They are
So,
$1 off when you buy with a coupon.
Yes,
That's-
we remember.
That's my number 7 commercial jingle.
Number
Just
seven.
kidding.
Dude.
I'm just kidding.
Oh, that's awesome.
Dude.
Just kidding.
Oh my gosh, I was about to walk away. Like I can't even
had
handle
the
you
papers, you're
sometimes,
like,
right?
Fuck this, I'm out of here.
You know what? I'm not sure if you're kidding. You might have lists. As I'm the one with a notepad with 20
It's not.
seasonal
it's not.
fast food items.
It's not. It's not.
Okay.
I
don't know
never
if
had
this one.
this.
Go ahead.
I never had this, but it looks amazing. It's a Taco Bell Cheeserito, and I really wish I had gotten this.
Is it
it's-
like a keto friendly with cheese as the show?
No, it's
Okay.
it's cheesy as shit, and it's just rice, meat, and cheese.
Oh.
It looks amazing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, this kind of places do this everywhere now, but I feel like the first place I remember was stuffed crust pizza at Pizza Hut when we were a
Yeah.
kid. That was like a big promotional thing.
Yeah.
Dude,
It
any
was
stuffed
awesome,
crust
but
would
yeah,
be
stuffed
amazing
crust.
now.
Remember Wendy's salad bar?
I do remember that actually.
Never
God.
had it, but it was
Yeah,
there.
I didn't know that was a thing.
The last one I guess I'll do
That's crazy.
or two more. The double down at KFC. It was like the 2 pieces of chicken
Yeah.
with
Oh,
the
yeah.
stuff and the bacon and cheese in the middle. And then the double XL chalupa at Taco Bell was pretty much the only thing that they've ever served where you actually get a ton of meat in it. And it's
Yeah.
not just like skimped. But
Right.
almost to the like point of detriment that it was like so much meat and cheese that it would just be
That
dripping
thing was
everywhere.
like 3 inches wide.
Dude, it was crazy.
Yeah, it was.
They probably
wild.
stopped serving. It's like, dude, we ran out of meat so fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. I almost included that brief period of time that Popeyes ran out of the spicy chicken. I almost
Right?
included that on my
Technically
list.
limited edition
Yeah,
item.
exactly. Very close to including it, but
Remember how insane that was, and now it's just a thing.
People
Yeah,
were
now it's
literally
just
getting
$4.
murdered over it. People died over a
People were
chicken
paying like
sandwich.
$10,000 for a chicken sandwich. Now it's $4 nationwide.
just the video of the entire parking lot swirling,
Yeah.
waiting to get in line. I was like, this is ridiculous.
Fun fact,
Again-
you can get the chicken sandwich meal with a side and a drink for only $6.
Ooh.
It's
And
worth
here's
it.
Okay.
another thing BLT was ahead of the curve on. So,
Always.
Always ahead of the curve.
always, dude.
All right, we're
Back
gonna
to the
wrap it
list.
up there so we can all get to football Sunday in America.
Boo.
Predictions, quick, for your
Uh,
Bears.
Not good.
Christ.
Bears lose.
Win ugly. Bears win ugly.
Bears lose 2014.
I've also come to notice about my predictions that I said they go 10-6 this year, but I think they're going to win every game. So it doesn't make any sense. No rhyme or reason. 10-6,
Well,
but
you
they're going to go
have to
undefeated
you
at the
have
same
to
time.
project to the 10 wins based on where they are in the season. So yeah, now you got to say they're going to win because
True. That's fair. You're right. That's true. That's a good point.
All right. Thanks for
All right.
listening.
Bears
I'm
by
heading to
3.
McDonald's and Burger King.
All right. Now I do want some specialty items. Thanks to all our condiments out there. We love y'all. Keep supporting us. Follow us, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at Bros Let's Talk. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit that little bell button to get notifications for when our episodes drop so you can look at these handsome faces and amazing mustaches. All right. For Jimmy, Sean, Andy, this is Pat. Later, dudes.
See you,
Peace.
failers.
Later.